welcome back, guys. This is episode 6 of Discussings with PSA. We have some pressing issues to get to today, namely the Disc Golf Network and the Disc Golf Pro Tour. More really the Disc Golf
Certainly.
Network. They are one of the worst streaming services I've ever witnessed with my own two eyes, and I think everybody that works there should be fired effective immediately. Um, it was terrible this weekend for the All-Star weekend. I get there was a little bit of a weather system going through there pretty much the whole time, but there's uh there's no excuse to that in my book. Plus there's just more to get into other than just the weather and that stuff. But and then after that we'll get into our pre All-Star weekend predictions, see how we fared. But yeah, I'll just let you get into it right away. Way, what do you got for us with DGN? What's your beef?
Well, well, shoot, man. First of all, it was just the first day, the whole skills challenge. There was just something odd about, going on the app and thinking you could watch it on there, or the Disc Golf Network streaming service and thinking you could watch it on there, and it had just showing a lock button. You'd be logged in thinking you'd be able to get in and watch it. And I guess they might have said something about it, but day one was, YouTube only, it was going to be live on there, which, I eventually made my way over there, after a few steps of finding out what's going on. But they didn't really, give like a clear pathway to go from the app to YouTube. I'm not necessarily, asking for a direct link, but just say, hey, we're not showing this on DGN today. We're showing it on YouTube only. So, and if you didn't see that post or that announcement that they made, that they're only going to do day one on YouTube, then you're kind of stuck thinking, oh, is there something wrong with my account? Is the app broken? Is the Wi-Fi in my home acting up or something? So, there's just a lot to look at there. First of all, right off the bat, the first event of the year, there's already something to be said. And that, that shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be a thing. They should have all their, eggs in one basket right off the bat, and they haven't seemed to do that. And even, Hunter Thomas from Foundation Disc Golf had something to say about the Saturday stream, where they had two different times, mixed up, where that said they was going to start at this time, but the event actually starts at this time. And so there's just a lot going on there. And I know Biddy kind of watched more of Saturday than I did, as far as the commentating. The skills challenge, is pretty much just to, watch the drills be ran and watch the events go down and, listen to the music. But once you start getting into that doubles and singles play, you start, listening to that commentary again. You start seeing how the DGPT and DGN handles that. And it's kind of, less than ideal and subpar, in my opinion. And I'll let you kind of go into it on that, because that was kind of the first day where you really saw some disc golf being talked about. So,
Yeah, so like you said, I mean Friday wasn't bad. Just speaking from my experience
it was a great day
with
on Friday too. We should mention,
yeah,
like, weather-wise, there wasn't any rain that day. And
yeah, it
yeah,
was
to
pretty
me, I
sunny
watched
out.
I watched a lot of Friday as well, and that was actually a very good event. There's a lot of high energy flying around.
Yeah,
People
absolutely.
were having fun, a lot of good events being done. Um, a few little gimmicky things here and there, but other than that, it was pretty well ran. So you can
Yeah.
continue what you were gonna say.
Yeah, just like with what you said on Friday and like the whole YouTube and streaming server like on DGN, you know, I had I had previously, like last year, I had the full subscription to Disc Golf Network, and obviously this year they rolled out a new system with like the three-tiered pricing model and whatnot. But since I'm a PDGA member, it's a little bit cheaper for me, so I got the pro version. So I was thinking, well, what's the point of having the pro version if I can't even watch the skills challenge? Because it was on the DGN app, but it just had a lock icon in the bottom right corner. So I
Right.
was like, so I can't watch this. And then eventually, like you, I found my way to YouTube. But that was just the first occurrence of the weekend. And like you said, you didn't really watch much on Saturday because you were competing in a little Saturday dubs at Vista, correct?
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Um, but yeah, on Saturday it was I watched the FPO in the morning, and the weather came in hot and heavy. It wasn't really hot, but it was heavy rain, not too warm. It was like mid 50s. It was a little bit windy, and that course is not really. not really meant for rain. It's an old quarry, so it kind of holds all the water because a lot of the holes there's really low lying spots.
Mhm.
Um, but it was just kind of weird because it is hard to film and whatnot in the rain. But I mean, they had their cameras pretty well protected, but it was just like I don't know, the production value from Disc Golf Network was just very lackluster. And for the first event of the year and for it to be the All-Star weekend, like you want to push a good product out there for the first event of the year, not only because it's the All-Star weekend, because it's the first event of the year. Like there's been an off season, like people are excited to be watching the pros again. And it just wasn't really that good. Like and we're going to speak on it, but the commentators were lackluster like they always are. I'm just so sick of hearing it. They're so mundane, monotone. Like, let's get some excitement into the disc golf world, bro. Like, it's just so hard. But just to go back into what I was saying, um, like Saturday for the FPO, the play was all right. It was just raining too much, and the players were kind of complaining a little bit. So it was Missy Gannon actually. Like she formally entered a petition to get the rest of the events cut down to just 9 hole matches, just because it was so miserable out there. And, I mean, I don't blame them. Like nobody wants to go out there and play in a downpour, 18 holes, especially at that place. Because if you watched it or you followed along a little bit here and there, that's a very, very, very long course and it's very high elevation, low elevation, like a bunch of switching around and stuff. So, I mean, and if you watch today, that course was underwater. Like it was borderline unplayable in most
Mm.
situations. But um, so eventually the Disc Golf Pro Tour on Saturday morning, it was like mid round for the FPO. They decided that they were going to change all the remaining events to only 9 hole matches. Um, but the FPO did finish out their doubles. They did play 18 holes. And really, I mean, there really wasn't much. I mean, there really wasn't much to talk about this weekend, disc golf wise. I mean, it's just really the disc golf network and the commentators and just the production value of it all was just very, very poor in my opinion. And I'll let you go ahead and talk about the commentators because I know you watched it today. So I'll just let you go because I know it rubbed you a little raw today. So I'll let you go for it.
Yeah, I suppose you could put it that way, but yeah, just like Biddy said, like there wasn't much to be said for disc golf, in the singles match in the MPO at least there wasn't a single person under par, it was even to +4 was the point spread. So when you start having rounds like that, it could kind of get mundane, which is why I'm sort of giving them like a half break on this week, and we'll really see how they ramp it up next week for the 3 round event, the chess.com invitational. So you played at the same course, so they're taking Monday off tomorrow. They're closing the course, kind of wear down the foot traffic a little bit less, and see if they can get that course back into playing condition, and should be some sunny days leading up to the tournament. But as far as like the commentary goes, and just trying to make the event, something more than it was, playing out to be, as far as the bad weather and the mediocre play was going on. But the players were making the most of it, and not, although not many other sports, you really make a comment such as, we see the players down there, they look like they're making the most of it. Hats off to them for making the most. Like in football and like any other soccer, like any other thing with conditions, they're not like getting insight from the players like, oh, how are you? They go out there and play. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't matter. Like they're disc golf's just kind of getting pretty soft on me, and it's kind of rubbing me the wrong way in that. And for the visually impaired listeners, and for the people who are driving in their car, even, and they just want to listen to a stream, they're not getting any information when Kyle Klein steps up to the tee on hole 8, and all the information they're getting is Kyle Klein on 8 here. Pause, pause, pause. The disc lands. Okay, he throws a shot, the disc lands. Then they'll come in with a commentary. Yeah, it looks to be safe. He'll have an approach from there. How about Kyle Klein steps up to the tee? Looks like he's got a sharp edge disc in his hand. Could be a driver. He looks like he's lining up the forehand here, taking his steps. 3 seconds go by, he throws a shot. Ooh, little stall out hyzer to the right. Looked a little higher than the line he wanted, but it's coming down. Looks to be safe. Just short edge of the pond there. He's gonna have about 250 in from whereabouts.
Yeah,
It's just getting
I
to
mean,
the
I get
point,
you.
like if you're in the car and you're listening to a shot, you don't know what the heck happened. But you get somebody who goes play by play and get some, they call it color commentary. Let's get some more of that. They have guys to do that in disc golf on DGN, um, categorized for certain different, play by play and color commentary. And if they're only saying one or two things like every 30 seconds to a minute, you're not getting much from there if you're not the type to want to watch it all day. What if you just want to pop a headphone in at work and listen to some disc golf and all you hear is just the rain pouring or footsteps or chitter chatter in the background, and then occasionally get a disc golf play by play or some color commentary added on to, you
Yeah.
know, the naturous sounds of disc golf as it is.
Well,
So
I got something else to add real quick, just like another
absolutely
example
go
of that.
ahead. Yeah,
Um, who was Gossage playing in his match today?
I got it right here. Give me
Yeah,
one
pull that
sec.
up real quick because I don't know why I can't remember.
It was Goss and Dickerson.
Was it?
Yeah. Goss and Dickerson, Proctor and
Oh
Ezra,
yeah, it was. You're right.
Barella, Ridallen, Oram, Klein, and Wysocki, Burr, and Heimberg, Robinson.
Okay, yeah.
So
So yeah, just to add another piece of evidence to that. So Gossage and Dickerson are playing today, and Gossage is down. And he throws a pretty good forehand shot on 8, which is a tough pin. It's a low ceiling. He threw he threw like a it was like a mid range, I think. He gets it to about it was like 15 feet, and he's got a putt to keep it even with Dickerson going into the last hole because they're only playing 9. And it was like a 25 footer. Like he should have made it, and he missed it right. And the commentators said nothing about it. It's like that's to keep the
or
match even, and they didn't
yeah,
say a word about it. They just said Gossage to keep it tied. He missed it, and they didn't even say he missed it. I
or
was
they'll
like,
say something 3 to 4 to even 5 seconds after sometimes.
yeah, I
Just
was
a
just like,
just a very average statement, like 3 to 4 seconds after, when you already saw and it's moving on to the next clip, and then it'll all of a sudden be like, well, Gossage didn't get that one to go.
yeah.
And then it's like,
And
okay, I
then
saw that. We're on to the next thing.
yeah.
It's like, let's like have something flowing at all times. You know what I mean? Like something
Well,
I liked Brody Smith saying in one podcast, and then I'll let you go. Just like bring in, somebody, just one person to just always be giving them information to speak on. There's so many lulls in watching the disc golf. Like they'll be like, okay, we're taking a break here, and then it'll just be like nothing, nothing, nothing. They'll go to commercial, bring it back, and there'll be nothing going on for a little bit, and they just don't really. They just kind of go about their day. It's very Sunday walk through the park esque. There's no excitement to the game when you watch it anymore. Like not to me at least. I don't know if anybody, like, we just watch so much other sports where it keeps you wanting to watch it because there's action, and there's so much action in disc golf. There's a lot of good shots being thrown out there that are not getting enough credit.
oh, that reminds me. Um, on Saturday, you probably didn't see this because you were playing at Vista, but um,
Unfortunately, I was, yes.
Henna in the doubles on hole 3, she had an ace. Did you know that? Yeah,
Did not.
yeah, she skipped it in on 3, threw a beautiful shot right up around the corner. It skipped up to the left around the corner, and no catch cam to get it. Nothing. You could just hear the chains, and then you could see her. She was like, "Did I ace it?" Like nobody knew anything. And then everybody else throws, and then you just get video of her walking up to the basket, no excitement, just I aced. And it's like
I guess.
how do you not have a catch cam in that situation? Because the hole goes up to the left. The the catch cam could be standing down to the right and get the whole shot. Nope.
And there's not many cards out there to follow
No,
anyways,
there was
so
three cards.
there's not much action to cover
Yeah.
in the first place.
And that's
um
and that's
yeah,
another thing to say about the whole production. Like you said earlier with what Hunter said from Foundation, like on the app it said it was going to start at this time, but it started a little bit later. But also there's only three cards the whole entire weekend for FPO, three for FPO, three for MPO. And they started the coverage 30 minutes after the first card. There's only three cards. Why are you waiting?
dude
Show
dude
all of
it
it.
might have it might have been more than 30 minutes even
Because
for
they
the
played three
MPO,
holes
dude.
before.
It
Yeah,
was, they were like walking to the fourth, like they had already like played so much disc golf and they had footage from all that happening. Like
I
if
know.
you're catching my drift, like they were
They
filming
were
stuff
there.
and not doing anything with it.
There was no commentary.
No, and so, but what I'm saying is like you
Idiots
either
were probably eating lunch.
you either want to watch an NBA basketball game. Like I do NBA analytics sometimes with Zeke over at his house. We watch the NBA on his league pass thing, and there's no commentary, right? Like there's no commentary. You just hear the squeaks and the mumbles of the basketball players and the fans in the stands because like it's a certain version you can do or
Yeah, I know what
certain
you're
thing you
talking
can.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. And you either want to watch that or you want to watch an NBA analyst or you want to watch an NBA broadcaster go absolutely insane over the game the whole time. Why do you think who is it, the Charlotte Hornets announcer or the commentator is like the most electric
Agre-
guy, and is that the right
Yeah, he
team I'm
says some
thinking of?
pretty egregious things,
I
but
know.
it's funny
So,
and it keeps
but it's
people
fun and it
engaged.
and it keeps people engaged and it's talked about a lot, and we just never see anything even remotely close to that happening in disc golf. And maybe it's time for a change in that. That's kind of what we're hoping for, at least.
Yeah, and
Um,
this is our formal proposal to get these two faces in the booth. Like I love
us
Terry
two.
Miller. I love Terry Miller. I love Nate Sexton. He was on there today. Brian Earhart. He's actually not bad. He's the guy that's
All
always on the
great
ground.
guys.
And they always ask him questions, and he's always pretty knowledgeable. Like, oh, this is where the guy is. He's in the trees. He's got a tough shot coming up. He's
Mhm.
probably not in any shape to make par right here. I like that part of it. But it's like Terry Miller is just so mundane and monotone. Like he gets excited here and there, but he's
Here
not
and there.
it's not like I'm telling you right now, I would bring, and I know you would too, an energy to the booth that would be unmatched. And people would be like, wow, that was like, that was enjoyable to listen to today. Like they knew what they were talking about and they kept me engaged. And just to go back to like your argument with like other sports, like broadcasters are talking constantly. Now I get basketball, football, it's a little bit more high paced than disc golf because you got people walking the shots, taking their time. But even in like a real ball golf commentary, they're always talking about something. There's never a time where they're just sitting there and nothing's happening. Like they're going to footage from other parts of the course. They're
They'll
talking
bring
about
people in to
stats.
talk.
Yeah,
They'll bring in a guest. Yeah.
or they're like or like the players will be on hole 17 and they'll be like, well, there's only been like five guys that have birdied this hole today. So he's going to have to put it in this specific spot if he even wants a chance at that. He's going to have to make a putt. Why don't they do that in disc golf? Like they just signed this new deal with Statmando. Um, how about you use that to your advantage?
Mhm.
Would that not make sense? I mean, I just don't get it, bro.
Just a pondering, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, Disc Golf Network, Disc Golf Pro Tour, if you're watching this, me and Way got it. Um, you can relieve them of their duties and we'll be in Florida on Friday. So
Yeah.
if you see this, probably not, but I mean, it's just eventually people are going to stop watching altogether because it's just, there's no point.
Yeah, dude.
You
He's
got
getting
anything
out of
else you
hand.
want to get out of your mouth and onto the interwebs?
Nah, dude.
All right, let us get off our soapbox now. We forgot to do this at the beginning of the pod. But this is an every pod occurrence. I'm gonna let Wade take it away with the disc of the day for you guys.
You bet, bud.
What do
So
you got for us?
this one ain't on the wall.
Why
Because
is it not on the wall?
she's a new cop. Uh,
Oh, what is it?
if you know anything about anything in the disc golf world, and
Oh, a
I
little
will say
dramatic
another thing.
pause.
I will say another thing about this. The number one disc golf superstore in Arizona forgot to put in a pre-order for them. I didn't even
What?
tell you that, dude.
What?
Spinners didn't order the Pixel or the Eagle Envies, dude.
Dude, how do you not do that? It's one of the most anticipated discs
I
on the
know.
market.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna.
Dude, that
But
thing is tough.
you could tell it's got a little bit of a shoulder to it for an MVP putter, and
Absolutely it
it's
does.
pretty deep. It's got that 90-degree edge on the rim, which is also something you don't see from a lot of the putting putters, but more so from the throwing putters like the Envy and Proxy. They got it, but
Yeah.
the anode, ion, and the spin, they all have a very, very rounded inside rim. So
The Nomad.
the Nomad's got a little bit of 90 to her.
Yeah, because
It
James
show
Conrad's
does. But
him.
yeah, exactly. But this is the Pixel, and this is the little 174 gram and firm in the special edition. I got four putting ones on the way because I found they've been putting a lot better than ions and anodes for me because I like to tuck my pinky and it feels comfortable. So, but yeah, shout out Dynamic Discs and shout out Chumba Discs in Phoenix, Arizona, because they have their head out of themselves and actually know what discs sell and what don't. But they can have their little Rolos and their little Discraft discs. Spinners can. So they're good, dude. They're,
Yeah.
they don't deserve them.
What a combination that place is. Spinners and Vista. Dare I say the
Little,
worst place on earth for disc golf?
dare I say, a little rough around the edges, eh?
All right, we don't want to trash them too much, but they could be
Not too
better.
much.
Um,
Just know that you're not really playing disc golf when you go there. You're playing avoid pedestrians and avoid people who don't know what's going on, so you don't catch a lawsuit in a park that you just wanted to go have fun at, but were sorely mistaken. So let's move on.
yeah, we'll move on to our predictions from this weekend. We're just going to touch on a little bit because, like I said before, the disc golf wasn't really that impressive this week. But
No. And it
what are
just
you going to
ended a
do?
couple hours ago. We're giving you guys a pretty pretty recent update.
Yeah,
Should
so
be up by tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest. So
we'll just go with the skills on Friday. What we thought.
sure.
What I said for the FPO, I said Owen was going to win. You said Cat was going to win. Owen put up 42, absolutely blistered the competition.
Those two choices couldn't have been any polar opposite. Cat,
Yeah,
Cat was hitting every piece of metal except the chains possible, and Owen was damn near piercing her putters through the chain links
yeah,
the
she
whole
was.
entire time for both rounds. I haven't seen anything like it. She would finish a stack of five putters in, I believe, under 5 seconds.
Oh, it
So
was just
that's
rapid
less.
fire.
She was rapid firing off less than one disc per second, or
Yeah,
over a disc per second. And yeah, man, she was on fire and she was cashing them in from
but
deep.
that's
Little
the way to
wobble to them,
go.
but they were hearted, kid.
I mean, I feel like that would be the way to go in like a putting contest like that. Like get
I
in a
think
rhythm, just
so.
spit them out there, hit the same
Yeah.
line. But yeah,
Yep.
and then moving
Worked
on
for
to
her.
accuracy. You took Macy Valadiaz, I took Sarah Hokum. Neither of them even made the finals. Jessica
No.
Weiss won.
I will say one thing about Macy though. She had two throw-ins this weekend.
Hmm.
So like her accuracy is pretty good. She just didn't show up in the competition, but in real play, like I said, she was doing it last year, throwing in
Yep.
from excuse me all over, and she did it again this weekend.
Yep. Um, then distance, this was a foregone conclusion. Everybody knew that Eliezer was going to win. I mean,
As
16
was
years
the
old,
MPO's distance.
16 years old and
Foregone
throwing like
conclusion.
that is just,
503 her. You bet.
that's pretty good. I mean,
Yep.
not very many women are doing that, if any, except for her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So
pretty
no, I don't think
impressive.
so. Not consistently, at least.
No,
You know,
not
they'll get one. They'll
consistently.
get one out there that'll maybe touch 500, but yeah,
They got
she's.
a nice little tailwind downhill.
Mhm.
Then
uh,
we'll just jump over to the MPO. We're just going to run through this quick because, it is what it is. Putting, you said Ricky, I said Isaac. Neither of them made the finals. Marweed ended up winning, correct?
it's crazy. Yeah.
And you said that you were going to take Marweed, and then you went with Ricky right at the end.
Yeah.
Should
Marweed's
have
just a
stuck to your
born
guns.
just a born killer, man. He really is on that green. I tell you what.
He was the
I
best
was
putter in the whole Pro Tour last year, wasn't
yeah,
he? In
he
C1
was.
or
He was
something like
number
that.
one. Yeah. He definitely proved me wrong. I'm not even sure why I ever steered against him, but it's all good.
Yeah, and then
All good.
accuracy, you had Klein and I had Alden Harris. Klein barely missed the finals. Alden did make the finals, but Chris Dickerson was just throwing darts. I mean,
Darts.
the guy had
Bullseye.
33.
Bullseye.
The guy had 33 points in both rounds, which that was insane. I mean, just he just looked like he couldn't miss. All right, and just to finish up with the MPO skills on Friday, like we said, foregone conclusion, Anthony Barella was going to win that thing. I'll let Wade talk about it because he's pretty jacked about the distance he threw, which you should be because it's
Well, I
pretty
suppose.
insane.
Yeah, I was thinking he was going to touch something in the 650s or at high sixes. He touched seven twice. Wild. This first one was like 705, and then he touched 713. So that's pretty special right there. It just seems like he's just throwing a little bit farther every time he steps out there, and that's a scary sight. So
Yeah,
he
he
actually
can
he
absolutely cook.
yeah he played decently clean today in the the singles match. He ended up plus one, just one back of the hot score of even hot score. Uh, but yeah, I mean, he if he can corral it all in, then he's going to be special, and everybody knows that. It's just got to wait till it's time for him to pop off.
Yeah, I mean, this necessarily isn't a course that really allows for you to show your distance either. Like, there's a lot
Not
of
in these
tight.
conditions either. It's such
Well,
a
that
fluke
too.
week, man. This whole weekend was a fluke to me.
Yeah,
We're
it is kind of
not,
sad that it was raining that
yeah.
bad for All Star Weekend, but hopefully the course dries up in time for next week. Um, I know that if you watch the coverage today, they had some straw out there in the really wet spots to try to soak up some water. So, it is what it is. You just got to play through the elements sometimes, but um, I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna jump right into the doubles for the women and the men on Saturday. Just regroup on our picks. For the women, I picked Missy Gannon and Holland Handley. You picked Own and Haley King. Gannon and Handley won by 9 strokes. We thought that was going to be close. It was not. Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that that was because of the rain. Because I mean, I watched Owen and Haley, and they couldn't spin it like they normally do. Um, and then the second match, we both picked Ella Hansen and Allie Smith, and they won by like 9 or 10. So the FPO matches were not very close. And
No.
then the last one was Katrina and Sarah Hook'em. I picked them, and you picked Kat and Macy.
Yeah.
And Katrina and Hook'em won, I think, by 4 or 5,
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
So not really too close of matches like we had expected. But we'll just go ahead and attribute that to the rain. Um, I mean,
Sure.
if you got it going on and you can figure it out quick, you're probably going to win. I mean, that's just how it is in the rain.
Yep.
Um, And then for the singles, the whole competition, I picked Team Missy, you picked Team Own. Team Missy ended up winning, so I won that. Clean sweep in the FPO.
with a
That's why we,
score of 6-3.
yep,
So
and that's
wasn't
why
really
we
close.
need, nope, and that's why we need sports betting and disc golf because I would be millionaire because I clean swept the FPO. What do you know? All right, so just to brush up on the MPO doubles and singles from this past weekend. For the doubles, I took the Robinson brothers. You took Calvin and Proctor. They tied. We both took Gossage and Cole Radalin. They tied in their match with Dickerson and Orem. And then we both took AB and Wysocki, and they were the only group that actually won their match. So we were kind of on it, I guess, if you could say that. And then for the whole shebang, I was rocking Team Isaac, and you were rocking with Team Calvin and the Florida Jets. Um, and Team Isaac came out on top 5-4, so that one was actually kind of close. Um, would have liked to see a better All Star weekend, but at the same time, they did the best as they could do with the weather situation and whatnot. So hopefully the course can, I don't know, undergo some major drainage by next week. If not, it's gonna be a little treacherous out there with the footing, but they're professionals, they can handle it. Um, and they're going to be playing a different layout too, so shouldn't be
That's
a
right.
problem. Shouldn't be a
That's right.
problem. Um, Anything else you want to get out there?
So yeah, man, all in all, I just think they need to get their stuff together. I think they need to be more organized. I think they need to relay information a little bit better with their graphics and with their just whole format of how they display the information. They don't really give the whole picture all the time. And sometimes to people that are new or just, get there at a time where they're a little bit late to the party and they don't quite know what's going on. It's just, give us a little help sometimes. Help us out. You know, with whether it's the commentary, whether it's the information, or whether it's just the stats in general, it's always like there could just be so much more in all aspects. And that's what really kind of leans me off of it sometimes. And like people said, like a lot of the times people turn it off and go wait for the Jomez on YouTube.
The Jomez coverage is so much, I don't know, like it's produced better. It really is. I mean, the commentary is a little bit better. Um, the slow mez, the replays and stuff like that. Like,
Shout out Big Germ and Yuli for that.
yeah, I mean, they know what they're doing. And disc golf is going to go one of two directions. It's going to keep growing and growing and growing, or it's going to come to like a stale point, and people are just going to get turned off by.
The screeching halt.
I don't know if it'll be a screeching halt, but you'll see a lot of drop
Well,
off with people. I mean, especially with like the pricing models. Like people are not going to pay $20 a month just to watch what they just put on display this weekend. It's not worth it. It might not even be
especially
worth the
when there's
$13 that I pay for it with my PDGA membership. Like seriously.
yeah, there's really only, two events every month on average anyways. 2 to 3 maybe if you're lucky. And that if you're looking at $20 a month, you're looking at, $7 to $10 every tournament that you're willing to pay to watch that and listen to that and get nothing from it. Really sucks, dude. It's not really something you'd want to put your hard-earned dollar towards.
Yeah. I mean, but to that point on the app, there is other stuff that you can watch that isn't the
Oh
tournament, but
yeah.
you would have to have the pro subscription. So you
Oh
would
yeah.
have to be either spending $20 a month or the 13 if you're a PDGA member. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, is that really worth it? That's what people are gonna have to weigh their options. But I mean, why
Because
do that?
at some point it's like Netflix used, like at some point, in its early DGN, still in its early stages. Why are the prices so high? Netflix is now whatever. I don't know. I don't even know. But it used to be, I think like
It used
five
to be a
ninety
lot
nine or
cheaper.
9.99 or something like that. And you could obviously watch a extreme amount of different options on there. And DGN, you really only get disc golf. So I get they tried to add a lot of features, and I get that they're trying to get the right organizations in with them as far as, pairing with PDGA Live and Statmando. And we'll honestly just have to see where it goes from here in a real tournament format, which we got coming up next week. So this is the perfect time to kind of quickly introduce it. We'll give a more formal kind of layout of the whole tournament, and who's playing, who we think is going to do well, and kind of what we expect from the whole thing. We may even brush on what we expect to see from the streaming service. If it's going to keep being this way, we're going to keep critiquing it, and we're not hating on it in our critique. We're just hoping it gets better, because it's something that we want to spend hours of our weekend watching, but it's hard to sometimes, man. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, just to finish my point on the streaming service, like it's hard to just sit there and want to put it on my TV. Like I'll just throw it on my phone and do something
Our
else, and
nice
I'll
big
just
TVs here, our nice big TVs are being filled with monotone, mundane, lackluster content when there's shots running baskets from 250, 300 out that are at least giving her a little scare. And you could hear a freaking pin drop or a cricket 6 miles in the woods. You could hear it because
I
there's
know.
just no one saying nothing. Come
Yep.
on.
Yeah. I mean, there was like there was a handful of shots that were like they were fully running the basket, and all you could hear was the little drip drops of the rain.
That too. Yep.
And it was just like, all right, whatever. I'm done beating a dead horse though.
So what would you
We'll
do?
see what
What
happens.
rewatched our pod? A little bit something more exciting at least. Well,
So we'll see you again next week for the
yeah,
chess.com. So that's gonna wrap up today's pod. Anything else? I think that's it.
that's it, man. Go buy you a Pixel and go buy you an Envy, matter of fact.
Yep.
Um, I threw both, and they're pretty special. They're both of them got a little bit of dome to them. The Pixel absolutely glides forever, 300 plus on an effortless 75% shot, I'd say. Like it just kept on going to where I was like, wow. Even like a water glitch didn't do that sometimes, just because you can rip on it a little more. So I mean, shoot, man, they're special, and they putt special too. They glide straight to the chains, just like Simon says in the commercial. And they're gonna be a good putter, and they're gonna be working well for me for a while. Having 4 or 5 at my disposal now, I guess something to at least have a good practice putt sesh with for once, and not have to be putting 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4 different putters just to get the reps in. It's not really helping you out. You're almost practicing bad habits. So just excited for that to up my game a little bit. I've had a kind of a stale point in putting, and now with my throwing, just kind of try to smooth things out there a little bit. Maybe sacrifice some distance, but just get some angle control and some lines working better. I know we want to get in the right shape for our April bashing sesh that we got coming in Ohio later this spring.
Yep. That's gonna do it for today. Um, hopefully the DGN can get it figured out. Hopefully the chess.com is a little revival to the sport. Hopefully the weather's beautiful. And as always, disc golf different. Throw gyro and go get yourself some MVP plastic, you idiots.
You bet.
Peace.
See you guys.